Hello, viewers. You're welcome to my page, Wise Choice. Today, I want us to look at life in the UK as a student or someone who have just newly relocated here. Do we have expectations? Is it like a land flowing with milk and honey? Is it so easy? Is life better here than in, let's say, for instance, Nigeria or African countries? Or so let's do a little bit of comparison. Thank you for joining in and for staying tuned. Please always like, comment, and if you've not subscribed, this is a family that it's an interactive and educative forum. So please join in. I produce my videos weekly, and I'll be happy to share my platform with you. So life in the UK, were there expectations? What are the cultural shock? When I mean shock, that's what you'll see when you have just arrived. For me, I had expectations. I wasn't expecting it to be rosy. I wasn't expecting it to be heaven on earth. But I had certain expectation. For instance, when I came here as a student, and that's like 10 years ago, I've not made videos on this before, but I think after 10 years, it's time to like reflect and what are the lessons. I would say UK is not for the faint-hearted. There are things that you would normally not do in terms of job in Nigeria that when you come here, hey, my sister, my brother, you will do it to make ends meet. Before I came, I've read books, Wole Soyinka, how when he started schooling here, his father passed on and he had to do work in a restaurant. You know, those things, you hear them, but you don't visualize them. You don't know the kind of the actual work. You just think, oh, it's restaurants. It's just, but when you start doing it, you will know that restaurants is different from restaurants. No doubt, I'll be lying to you if I say UK is not a land of opportunities, where your dreams and aspirations can be actualized. However, there are prices to pay for it. It's not easy. If I say it's easy, it's not easy. So, school fees, the exchange rate has always been terrible. And I was hoping that Nigerian economy will improve and the exchange rates will gradually pick up. But it's been terrible. And if there's any word that is more than that. For instance, when I came in 2013, thereabouts, I exchanged for 230. No, I exchanged for 260 against the pounds. And I remember then people were even like, oh, it's because I use black markets, because I didn't do this Form A stuff where you get it through the bank, which was actually better. If I had done that, I'll have gotten it at a better rate. But because I did black markets, I just asked the bank that I'm traveling. Instead of them to inform me and say, okay, go through Form A, the banker just decided to call me one malam to exchange for me. I should even be happy that they did not give me fake notes. But at that time, they exchanged for me for 263. And I would say it was big. But right now, 915, 900 upwards, that's the exchange rate. And for Form A, it's a lot of hurdle before you even get the approval, the procedure. Some says it takes like 6 months to get it Form A, and then school fees here is time bound for you to even, you have to have shown that you've made effort to pay some part of your fee, depending on the school, before visas can be approved and all of that. So for you to travel out, that's one thing you have to consider. I know that you can come here and work for it, but it's always better that most of it has been paid before you now come here and hustle, because there's still accommodation, there's still feeding. And accommodation here is not like accommodation in Nigeria. In fact, that was one of the things that I looked at. I'm like, what? My room then, I was paying £300 for just a very small room, £300 per month. Right now, for that same room, you may be looking at 600, 650. And the procedure now to get accommodation as a student, they can be asking you that you should look for a guarantor, okay, or if you don't have a guarantor, pay 6 months upfront, and calculate that in naira. It's a lot of money. So those are things that we need to be aware of before we finally make that decision. So accommodation, some of the accommodation is just total, like, am I still in the UK? When I was viewing, I can never forget that I went to Fallowfield. I was looking for an accommodation not too far from school, because if you use student accommodation, that's another thing. Those ones are, I was talking of 300. Student accommodation, you'll be talking about £600, 550, and they'll give you a single bed. With my own £300 out of campus accommodation, at least I was able to have a double bed to myself. But with student accommodation, you have smaller and then you pay more. So those are things that is important for you to look into before actually do your findings. That's what I would say. Do your findings. If you feel that, oh, you want to be on campus and you can afford it. But if you can't afford it, you can still get accommodations that are still reasonable in UK terms, and you can pay for those ones. So I saw some houses. I'm like, what? Am I still in UK? In terms of education, are you prepared for the accents that your teachers will be using to teach you? So I would advise students, when you're coming over, prepare yourself to be patient. The educational structure here is quite different. For me, it was one of the shock I saw in education was I wasn't used to, they call it critical analysis here. I was used to the exam-based system where you just write exam and that's it. You read, prepare, and then you do well. But in the UK, this is just saying that you can't just read and pour it out. You have to look at what different authorities in that particular field have said about it, and you now give your own, what do you think? So you look at, compare, you're more or less comparing and contrasting. So for me, maybe for some people, but I would say for me, it was something that I struggled with. So a quick one. I forgot to mention that for ladies, if you're coming, if you know how to make, if you have other skills like making hair, sewing, I tell you, they are good skills. If you don't have them, please quickly go and learn. Go and help you. For instance, if you come here, you're paying £50 for braids. Do you know what that means? You're paying 50,000 as a student. So you end up with, most times you end up doing keeping your natural hair, just like I have here in this video. That's me being fortunate that at least I have good natural hair. So wigs, it will help you a lot because making hair here is expensive. Just a simple gown to sew, they charge you. I want to cut off your head. So I would say, please come prepared. Come prepared. I'm not saying come prepared like bring money, but come prepared by upping your game, your skills and things that can help you. Come as a survivor, no matter what. And when you are here also, don't close your eyes to opportunities that will come your way. Try different things because UK immigration procedure is quite long. I would say if you have option of Canada, Australia, they may be better choices for you, and I can do a video on that based on what some of us that have come here and have gone to those other places have experienced or seen. UK